And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. If you have one of those AirPods or iPods out there, you may want to double check those settings. A local woman, Raven Lemon, believes someone tracked her every move with the device. What's even scarier, she had no idea it was happening to her. Our guest is here on The Factor Uncensored tonight, Raven Lemon, who had quite an experience. Raven, we all remember when Apple AirTags came out, we thought it was a great idea for tracking your luggage and other products that you may have, but we never thought it would be used this way. So tell us your story. You were, I guess, leaving the Galleria area after having dinner, right?
Yeah, so it was just a regular afternoon. I decided to meet my friend at the Grand Lux Cafe, which is just across the street from the mall. Nothing suspicious at all. Get in the car, I start to head home, and something just tells me, don't go home. So at this point, I had been getting alerts from my phone, but because I don't know what the alert means, it looks kind of like an Amber Alert when your phone overheats. I didn't process what it was telling me. So at some point, my phone just starts going off like back to back to back to back. And I finally open it and it tells me that somebody's tracking my location. And the exact thing that it told me was that somebody has been viewing my location for the past 17 minutes. And it brought up like a little
map. Stop right there. When you realized that someone had been tracking you that you didn't even know about for 17 minutes, what went through your mind?
So the first thing was just like the typical thing that people will do. You start asking yourself these questions. Did somebody drop their AirPod? Is it the person that's with me? Because I wasn't alone. So I'm just thinking that maybe it's a mistake, right? Mm-hmm. And so when I first was seeing it, it just kept telling me that there's the AirPod next to you. At this point, I'm just thinking, oh, it's just a coincidence. Just keep it moving, keep it moving. Now, at this point that my phone just won't work without the notifications, I started coming to the realization that somebody's tracking me. And the first thing, I guess, that kind of helped me realize that was what was going on is that it showed me a map of every single turn and movement I have been doing for the past 17 minutes. And, it's like there was really nothing I could do at that point but just try to figure out, like, okay, is this what's going on?
Were you that calm, though? I mean...
Yeah. So I'll say this as somebody who
weird things happen. Scared to death.
So I was calm at first because when I first figured it out, right, the way I'm seeing it is, somebody's just seeing, maybe somebody dropped something. Whenever my friend left, because I wasn't by myself, mm-hmm. When I really figured out that this person is still following me, because when it shows you that somebody was watching you for 17 minutes, you freak out. But then the alert stopped. So I thought that maybe it was just a random coincidence. Now, when my friend left, because I left from the gallery and I went to the park, I started freaking out. And the first thing I did was because I'm driving, like if you're leaving Memorial Park, I'm driving at this point, and then it sends me another notification saying that the person is still tracking me. So at this point, I just started driving as fast as I can. I'm not stopping my car. I'm making the calls to the necessary people. I didn't try to find the device, which is why I'm glad. I didn't stop. My main thing was I'm just going to keep driving. I drove a whole quarter tank of gas up because my main concern was either it's going to fall off, maybe the battery will die or something. But at that point, I didn't know if it was an AirTag or an AirPod because the notification wasn't very clear. Mm-hmm. Right.
And so what did you do finally? Did you call police? Did you eventually go home? What?
So I didn't go home and I didn't call the police. I will say that now that I'm aware, I would have called the police. But again, my main concern was just not getting kidnapped because I know people who've been snatched before. As a firearms instructor, I've dealt with a lot of people who've had similar instances, not with the AirPod or the AirTag, but just being in danger. So my best thought was, let me call my mom. I'm going to get her to find somewhere that I can meet her at. I had met her at one of her friends' home, and they have a gated area outside of their house, and then you can pull into a private garage. So we did that. And again, I drove around for about an hour, honestly, between the time that I really realized what was going on until maybe I got to her house was probably about an hour. And the main focus for me was just, again, driving as fast as I can and trying to see where they're trailing me. But the problem is, even if they weren't following me in the car, they could still track me on the phone.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you never found out who specifically was tracking you.
I didn't say this before. Well, when I spoke to like later on, I did speak to people about it as far as like Apple and different people trying to figure out what's going on. But I had a really weird situation happen at the restaurant. And I'm not saying that the restaurant is responsible, but it was just one of those things where you kind of start feeling like something's going on, but you're the only one who's not aware of it. Mm-hmm. So I do believe it was random. I believe somebody just saw me at that point and they decided that whatever their goal was, that I was an easy target.
But you want to alert other women out there and men to make sure, they monitor their surroundings. And if they get an alert saying you're being tracked, pay close attention to it and take it seriously.
I think the biggest thing, and this is the real issue, right, is they don't let you know how much the technology can do. When I thought about the AirPod or the AirTag, I'm thinking, okay, if I stop, then they can, like when you lose your phone, right? You don't sit down and watch the person walk around for 20 minutes. You say, oh, I left my phone. My phone was stolen. You just look at the location. Maybe you're going to head there and say, oh, okay, I know this place it is, right? But for them to be able to track me, and that was the thing that kind of confused me because I didn't know that was possible. Mm-hmm. So had I known it was possible, I would have immediately realized what was going on. Again, I thought maybe I grabbed somebody's item by mistake, or maybe somebody was driving behind me. But when I was in Memorial Park, I made a mistake and made a U-turn because they blocked. And then that's when I'm looking at the route, is watching every single thing I've done.